For 6 hours, he fought bleeding, broken, blinded, and barely breathing, yet he refused to stop. This is the story of Master Sergeant Roy Benavidez, the man who turned one of Vietnam's deadliest ambushes into a miracle. Roy Benavidez's life never came easy. Born in 1935 in rural Texas, he lost both parents young and grew up working fields, shining shoes, doing anything to help support his family. When he joined the army, he found a purpose, and through sheer grit became a Green Beret. By 1968, he was serving in Vietnam. On the morning of May 2nd, a 12-man Special Forces recon team, men Roy knew personally, was surrounded near Loc Ninh by a battalion of North Vietnamese soldiers. Hearing their frantic radio transmissions, Roy didn't wait for orders. He grabbed a medical bag, climbed aboard the nearest helicopter, and charged into what seemed like a suicide mission. The landing zone was a death trap. As the helicopter approached, enemy fire smashed into the aircraft. Roy jumped out anyway, sprinting 75 yards toward the team. Within seconds, he was shot in the right leg, the bullet tearing through muscle. Shrapnel from a grenade peppered his back and head. Still, he kept running. When he reached the wounded, he immediately began pulling men to cover, firing bursts to keep the enemy back. A bullet struck him again, this time in the abdomen. A third grazed his arm. At one point, while dragging a soldier by his collar, an enemy bayoneted him in the side of his left arm. Roy killed the attacker with his knife, but didn't stop working. Over the next 6 hours, he took hit after hit with gunshot wounds to his leg, stomach, and back, shrapnel in his face, head, and arms, a bayonet slash across his arm, a broken jaw from being clubbed with a rifle butt, and his lungs partially collapsed from chest wounds. Despite this, he dragged the wounded to rescue choppers, distributed ammo, coordinated air support, and retrieved classified documents from a dead teammate, all while under constant fire. On the final helicopter, the pilot was killed, the aircraft crashed back into the firefight, and Roy went back out into the open to rescue more men. He was shot again, this time in the thigh. He could barely see from blood in his eyes, and could barely breathe due to his collapsed lungs, but he kept hauling the wounded until everyone was aboard the last evacuation bird. When they lifted off, Roy collapsed, so mutilated that medics thought he was a corpse. They placed him in a body bag, only when a doctor saw his fingers twitch, and then felt Roy spit in his face, the only movement he could make, did they realize he was alive. Roy Benavidez spent a year recovering. Doctors believed he would never walk again. He proved them wrong, and in 1981, he received the Medal of Honor for his near-superhuman actions. After Vietnam, he dedicated his life to speaking in schools, military bases, and communities across the country. His message was always the same: perseverance, sacrifice, and never giving up on the people who count on you. Roy Benavidez didn't just survive the impossible, he fought through it for the sake of others. His story remains one of the most extraordinary examples of courage ever recorded in modern warfare.